Yeah, I was on Latino Rebels Radio. Shout out to Julio, and he was showing. This is the first time I did video podcast, right? And I've always been like nervous about it and stuff like that. And but it looked cool, like the things you can do. Like on this, I got Ecamm Live, and it looks pretty cool, man. It's like I'm just, it's the first. This is my first person, Oh wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
no, mhm.
Oof, I'm already messing up. I'm already messing up.
It's all right. It's a learning experience. It's like when you lost your virginity.
Something like that, yeah. Hold on. Hello?
I like the background.
Yeah.
Oh, now I know why you wanted the background. Okay.
Oh, you like that, right?
I like it, yeah. Hey man,
No,
I gotta
Rosina
say,
gave me the
you,
idea.
huh?
I did the Facebook Live. I did the Facebook Live upstairs, the normal podcast place, and then she's been doing meetings. This is her desk. She's been doing meetings from here, and then she's like, "Damn, I look pretty damn baller." And the fucking books in the background.
It does. It looks baller as fuck.
So what's the crisis on the with your funds? What's the crisis on Wall Street? I mean,
Man,
a couple weeks ago, you were saying, "Oh man, we should get ready to buy." But I mean, the way I'm seeing it, like we're not gonna get out of this slump until what?
oh no,
Until
don't get ready to buy like long. You can buy in stages, like but the buy comes in later. What you're seeing now, in my opinion, is a fake rally based on all the stimulus that has happened, all the craze around everything that's going around with a couple of phase one, phase two, phase three stimuluses. But if you really look at the data, right, look at the economic data and see what's really going on with these numbers and consumer confidence numbers. You see unemployment numbers, right? All these things that are just detrimental to the effect of the economy, right? But yet you see this bull run of the stock market. So it doesn't make sense. Something fundamentally is fucked up. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, in the macro, all you got to think about is that there was a bubble, right? And they had to squeeze the lemon. They had to squeeze the lemon before. So it's like it doesn't make sense when because if you're thinking like that Wall Street is trying to make the right moves for the country, but if you think about it, that they're trying to rob the country, then the fact that the health of the country is in shambles. We're in this crisis. The world is in a crisis, and yet Wall Street's doing pretty good. That's not supposed to make sense, but it makes sense in the fact that the system is just fucking theft, man.
Yeah, and I was telling you, man, this game is. I'm literally like seeing this firsthand. Like it's testimonial to me. Like I am seeing so much bullshit. Like it's a rigged fucking game. Like it's not meant for the average person to invest. It's the elite of the elite, the people who run everything, man. It's their pockets. And you're right. The stock market has nothing to do with the state of the economy, the wealth of America. It's complete bullshit.
I mean, I've been listening a lot to what Dylan Radigan's been saying, on the Jimmy Dore show, and like the way he puts it is so succinct, like the way he, because we have that bias, right? We don't want to see that the system is, the way it is, right? We don't want to see that we might be getting robbed or that the people can be that evil, you know what I mean? And like it's almost we try to look for reasons like no oh they're just stupid or they don't know or blah 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 like but then it's hard to just come to the realization or the conclusion that they just they just this is part of the plan, this is the way it works, the bottom gets fat, whatever it gets squeezed periodically, and that's just the system, right? Whatever the bottom gets, whatever, because we were barely coming out of the last recession, right? We were barely coming out of the last recession, but even then, it was time for a squeezing.
Yeah, no, like these past couple years, right? Everyone's been saying, okay, oh, the market's too high, it's gonna come crashing down. And if it wasn't coronavirus, it would have been something else. Like
Yeah,
it's not just because of this coronavirus. Oh, like the stock market's crashing. No, no, no. It could have been a different catalyst.
but and I apologize to the people on Facebook. I can't see their comments because I guess you can't do it. I'm doing it in just friends mode. I'm not doing it publicly, to the world.
Mm.
But we gotta like. I can see that. I can see a thumb for some reason. I can see emojis, but I can't see like comments. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it's almost in a way. It's almost the method that they preferred, right? The squeezing was coming. Something was gonna make it pop, and that a pandemic was the thing. Is almost for them the preferable thing, right? Other besides war or something happening, something like for them that's even more catastrophic than a pandemic. Because to them, you already see it, right? To them, they're like, okay, how many people are gonna die? 200,000. All right, that's all right. They're like, they've they've added that. They've added that into their fucking calculations. Like, oh, we'll lose 200,000 people, but hey, nothing to worry about. It's nothing. It could have been worse the way they see it.
Right, and like lately, I've been listening to Trump speeches, man. That guy's a fucking comedian, man. That guy's gonna win. He's gonna win over dementia Biden. I mean, it's a no brainer. There's two fucking people left. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Trump and Biden, right? Because Bernie's out.
Yeah.
So we got two fucking idiots, right? One retard and one idiot. I'm gonna pick the retard.
I mean, the thing is that they're both a choice between. I was thinking this the other day. And a choice between senile and crazy is not a choice. You know what I mean? Crazy and senile, that's not a choice. Like, give us a real choice. Like I had written that. That back in 2016, Hillary and people didn't like that Hillary and Trump weren't a real choice. They're both for Wall Street. I mean, they're friends. Trump went to Hillary went to their wedding. Like, they're friends. Like, to say that they're not friends is kind of wishful thinking. And so that wasn't a choice, right? And so now we're really seeing, okay, the worst possible choice. We're seeing a choice between senile old man and crazy old man. They're both for Wall Street, right? Some of Biden's biggest donors are like, the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance companies. So you already know, like, they're not going to, like, whoever you go for, it's all style, right? Do you want senile or do you want crazy? That's it. It's just a stylistic choice. It's not about substance anymore. That's why this is the last day I can wear my Bernie shirt. And it's not just, I'm not a hero worshiper, individual worshiper or anything like that. But, like, this is the death. For me, today is the death of, like, every 4 years I hope again. Every 4 years I hope again, and then, pa'l carajo, man.
Right? It breaks people, right? It breaks people's fucking spirits and hopes, and it's like, it just makes people just go into this lull of, all right, fuck it. If it didn't happen this year, this 4 years, not gonna happen next 4 years, and then people just give up, man. People just give up, and then see what happens. All this bullshit.
Man, this is so fucking hard. I'm like managing all these like little fucking dials and whatever. Anyways, I need a fucking producer. Go ahead.
No, the thing is, like, it's like people get beat up all the time, right? And they just, like, they get tired and then they just give up. But what they don't realize, I was just talking to today. The people really have the power, but they don't believe it. Like, and I see that in a lot of companies, in a lot of corporations. Like, a lot of corporations that I'm seeing, they're the ones that were reluctant for employees to work from home. One of their main reasons for being reluctant on setting that up is productivity. Because if you think about it, right? And what you said to me it stuck with me all the time. Like, the main owners of the company, they want to suck as much fucking money out of as much resource out of these employees as possible. And the employees are going to do kind of, bare minimum, right? So they're polar opposites, right? And right now, what I'm seeing with a bunch of these companies, I'm talking to a couple of people that are working from home now, is that they're required to work longer hours now that they're working from home, right? They can log in earlier, they can stay on logged in later. Oh, guess what? We got these requests coming in. Can you work on the weekend? And if you say no, they get upset and they mark it down. Okay, hey, this motherfucker said he doesn't want to work on the. So now is like a fucking crucial time where employees and people must really, really fucking rise up. I know it sounds kind of like, oh, the people rise up. No, but really, just people have to realize that, like, it's the power. It is in your hands, and these motherfuckers are just bleeding people out, man, and it's just pisses me off. Pisses me off, really.
You're over here talking into your name. I'm gonna move your. How do I can't move shit. No, well, I'm learning. Hey guys, this is my first video podcast, bro.
Sounds good.
First video podcast, and the way is like, I was like, the dream I've been telling you, right? The dream is to have like a studio, right? Because I mean, how did this start? It started basically you, dude, right? We would have these fucking epic ass conversations for the past 5 years, 6 years, me, you, and Rocio. And then you'd be like, man, we need to put this on fucking YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. But, I didn't know. You don't know anything. And so it's like, when you don't know something, you don't know how to do something, it seems like fucking, yeah, I wish I could fucking do a double backflip too, nigga, but I'm not fucking, beggars can't be choosers. But then like you see somebody do it, or you see like, oh, that it can be done, and then you're like, then you pull that little thread, and that's what I did, man. I was fucking learning about Ecamm Live all day the other day, man. And obviously I still fucking, well, the weed and the fucking wine doesn't help. I found a bottle of Pinot Noir that I just opened.
I mean, that's how it all starts, right? You just gotta start things. You just gotta do it. I mean,
yeah.
It's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be the best.
Well, that's the thing that stops people from starting things, right? That's the things that stop people from starting things. That they, they're afraid of looking like idiots. They're afraid of being bad at something. They're afraid of that.
Yep.
Going to try something and they suck, and maybe people see that they suck, or they just know that they suck, and nobody likes that feeling. So we avoid unpleasant feelings, and so we avoid doing things that would make us a better person in the end. Which is like, it's a tragic, right? That's a tragic thing about human nature.
Yeah, like one of the things that I like I don't give a fuck about anything. Like if I just do it. If I look like an idiot doing something, I don't give a fuck. Why like there's a lot of people that really care like what other people think about them. Like they care so much. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Just do you. Just do you. That's it.
I mean, but it depends. Like, I feel that way too. Like I'm half hippie, bohemian, half like writer. And the writer, that motherfucker cares. He like has an opinion about everything. The little fucking voice in my head has an opinion about everything. And then there's another voice like, dude, relax. Like life is like, I go through these phases where I don't even really care about politics. I don't care to read the news. There's months I go by that I read the news every day, right? And then there'll be a month or two that goes by that I don't read any news, right? And I just read books or something, right? And so like I teeter between these two things, this trying to change the world, trying to be a good influence, trying to be a good voice, a positive voice, trying to share what I know, the very little that I know, and that I'm finding out, in my attitude of wanting to find out. And then the other thing of just like, leave the world alone, maybe, like, and it's the other thing is that the system is so everywhere, so powerful, so pervasive. So it's, it's when the urge to go watch Netflix, it's the urge to watch some stupid shit on fucking Instagram. It's the urge to, everybody's on TikTok now, and I get, I'm not judging people, but that's human nature, right? I have that too, right? A part of me doesn't want to fucking read Camus or whatever. It wants me to fucking, fire up the PS2 that I haven't played in a long ass fucking time and just play, games that I want to play, or do whatever the fuck that normal people do. I don't know. Watch a bunch of bullshit on TV. There's a lot of stuff that I don't watch because I'm like, people tell me about it and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to watch that because there's shit I got to fucking read and do and, which is funny because even people who know me who are like, what do you mean you don't have a fucking busy day? Like, what do you mean you get to do whatever the fuck you want? It's like, Yeah, no, I don't. Like you're on a routine, you're on a fucking schedule, you're on a regiment, and you're like, it might seem like a choice to put it down, but it's really not a choice. And I found that out because I put it down when I came here to Vegas. She was making good money, and I was like, all right, well, I'll just be a good little happy house husband, and just read. And but no, man, it was something I needed to fucking write, man. And I got super depressed, and I didn't know what it was, and I got super depressed, and I didn't know what it was, I didn't know what it was. I was like, is it? No, it's just that I started had to write, and it's because and the only way I know that is because when I started writing, I wasn't. It was like I became full of life again. It was weird.
That's your outlet. That's your
Right.
That's your
And
thing.
I think everybody
That's your
has
thing.
an outlet. I think everybody has an outlet, and I think one of the cruel things about capitalism is that it doesn't allow you to find your outlet. And if you fucking, that's it's dehumanizing, it's anti-human, it's anti-life. Because if I don't know what the meaning of life is, right? But nobody does, and we're not gonna be able to find it out with our little brains, right? But I would think the meaning of life is, to just be whatever's in you that is unique and special. And it sounds like some fucking, Marianne Wilson bullshit. But it's just true. Because it's true. It's true for me. I was going to say because it's true for me, but that's how how you find out about other people. You find out about yourself, and then you find out about other people, how they work. But like, I don't know what I was saying, but it was like, yeah, you need to find the thing that in you that's unique, like, and that's part of the universe that's unique. You're a part of the universe, right? So like that unique thing, that's the universe wanting to show off it's something special about it, some special feature about it, right? That's the universe, right? And so the system is keeping the by limiting human potential. The universe is limiting the system. The capitalist system is limiting the potential of the universe to express itself. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what makes it such an evil system, Like it's not just this poetically, bad system. It's a bad system because it does bad things for real. It's doing bad things. It's not only destroying the planet, right? It's not only making us unable to address a global pandemic, a threat, right? But it limits us. It limits our human potential, It limits the potential of the universe to express itself, which is insane. Why would we have something like that does that? It's insane.
But like, how do you help people understand? Like it's.
And that's the first step, right? Because like, there's no revolution. The problem with revolutions and shit is that you're a couple thousand people, an army, a guerrilla army, and you're trying to like force. Even if you're your philosophy is good, right? Is it? And this is one of the questions of philosophy, right? Politics. Is it okay to force people to be good? And that's I can only leave that there. But like, again, I'm also a libertarian, right? So it's like, I go with most socialists only so far, but then they start saying, and then we're gonna start make people do this and that. Like, make people, like, they say that's the cliche about the way they describe heaven, right? Heaven, there's everybody's good and there's no blah blah blah, and they say there's even no dancing, there's no singing because those things are vulgar, right? If you're a normal person, you're like, heaven sounds like fucking terrible. It sounds like prison, right?
Put the music on, bitch.
And that's the whole idea of Paradise Lost, right? That's why the devil's like, God makes the devil bow to Adam, and he goes, no, I'm not gonna bow to you. Like, I'm perfect. I've been existing almost as long as you. You just created this thing, and he's imperfect. He doesn't even listen to you. You give him one fucking rule, and he's gonna break that rule. And so you're making me a beautiful, perfect. The devil was the most beautiful angel in heaven. You're gonna make him bow to this thing, this imperfect fucking thing. He goes, no, fuck that. And God's like, excuse me?
What'd you say, nigga?
And then he kicked them out, and then the devil says, better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. And that's like that's what we choose with communism, right? Like against communism, because we're all against that. We don't want to live in Soviet Russia, right?
Or China. Look what they're doing.
Oh, I mean, I was just saying this. I was in the shower talking to Rocio. I was in the shower and she's walking around getting ready, and I'm talking to her and I'm like, China and at first I said China and the United States are opposite. I'm like, oh, they're not really opposite. They're mirror opposites. Like, so they're exactly the same. They're just flipped. But, in China, they have no privacy. The government knows everything. But in America, we give all our privacy information to companies that then give it to the government, right? Like They found out Google's sending everybody's GPS to the government so that the government, the Department of Health, can monitor social distancing. And so they found out that, like, I think it was in Seattle that the average walk was like 6 miles a day, and it went down to 60-something feet a day, And Google was able to tell that to the government. So we give all our information to companies that then give it to the government, right? Or it's the same thing. Like we're basically becoming China, or we basically are China. We're just an opposite expression of it, But then they have a government that, I don't know if you saw how the quarantine works over there, but they fucking clean up, man. They have everything. Like you walk into a building and, everything's monitored. They take your temperature. Everybody who comes into a building, their temperature. And from the get-go, like when they first put the quarantine down, they were doing this in buildings, right? There's neighborhood groups that are in charge of that neighborhood. So they're in charge of like directing mail, and they're in charge of like, testing everybody, and everything that goes on in each building has a superintendent that's, part of the group effort. Like they have this thing down pat, and that's part of communism, right? That's part of socialism. And you see what happens in America, right? America, we're very individual. We love our individual rights and freedom. And, but then that meets up to, okay, when is it, when is curtailing your individual rights for the better of society? Like when is, that's utilitarianism. Wait, where's that line, right? And in America, we don't know that line. You see people still going to church because they're covered in the blood of Christ, like they say. I'm covered in the blood of Christ. I ain't getting no Rona.
And those are the people that get it first.
Yeah. And that was a old white lady, by the way. I know that sounded like a ghetto black lady, but that was actually a white Baptist lady in the South. There's a video of it.
Named Carol Baskin. Fucking bitch.
Yeah, what do you think of that fucking Tiger King,
Bro, hey, I'm glad you told me to watch it. Hey, bro, we couldn't stop watching it. We got the first episode. We're like, all right, let's just keep fucking watching. And bro, that shit it just got crazier and crazier and crazier. That bitch fed her husband to the goddamn tigers. 100%. 100%. Look, you can tell a lot from the way someone looks at you and their behavior and mannerisms. That bitch fed her husband to Tony the Tiger. 100%.
I mean, and you know what? I got a Hillary Clinton vibe from her. If you go back and look at the way she talks,
bitch looks like her.
Looks like her and laughs like her, and like, yeah, like that stone cold murderer laugh, like.
Yep.
I know where the body's buried.
And we know how murderous that bitch is, and her husband. Them niggas is wild.
Yeah, where are they at though, right? Where's Obama? Where
are all these niggas at?
These motherfuckers that want to rule the world, supposedly. They've been dying to rule the world because they got all this experience that they're dying to use and governing and leading. And I'm in a time of crisis. Who do you want at 2 a.m. to answer the phone? Bitch hasn't answered the phone in weeks. She's just twittering. That's all she does. She's just fucking going at Trump. Like she's just good at politics. So what she's trying to do is like steal Trump's style by like now, going at him on Twitter and all these clapbacks. Like, bro, like I want you to be president. Like if you're going to stoop to Trump's level, then clearly you don't have what it takes to be leader of a country. If you're just like, if you think it's mostly a popularity contest, which it is now, like it's almost like a race to the bottom, it's a race to the lowest common denominator,
And that's where Carol Baskin is, right there. That's fucking. I couldn't believe that
Who was
show.
your favorite person
Hey,
in that?
I like that nigga Joe Exotic, man. Hey, that nigga. Hey, free my nigga Joe. Free my nigga Joe.
You heard he got coronavirus, right?
Did he? Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a shame. What a fucking. Now, you know what? All them niggas on this show is crazy. All them people. Like, owning wild animals. Like, come on, man. That's like. I never even thought that was a fucking. Like, a business concept. To own a tiger and set up a fucking zoo, half-ass zoo, and charge people all this goddamn money and trade exotic animals, lock them up in cages and all that shit. It's fucking. It's wild.
I mean, and that I saw something that they have more tigers in Texas than they do in the wild. That's crazy, dude. Like, and then you see at the end especially when the shit's falling apart, right? The shit's falling apart, and they got like all these like muddy ass cells and muddy ass like the tigers are just in this like empty lot, right? This sludgy lot, right? And it's fucking so sad. Like, and yeah, who like. But again, I hate to fucking beat on this fucking dead horse, no pun intended, but that's capitalism, right? Right? Capitalism has no qualms with how you make money. It really doesn't. Just make money. That's the goal. That's the end all be all of capitalism. Make money. And so if you say that's the rule, that's why governments are corrupt. That's why motherfuckers are selling tours to see tigers in, like 20 tigers. 20 Tony the Tigers.
Tony the Tigers. That nigga said, he's great.
Hell no, man. So what's new,
shit
man?
Was wild. Chilling, man. Just
you missed ju-jitsu, huh, man?
Oh, like crazy, man. Oh my god. I sometimes just like I'll just do like solo drills here. I have to do something. Like I told you, I can't stay inside the house. I can't not do like physical activity. I have to do something. Just yesterday, I ran a couple miles, and I pushed it, man. And then towards the end, it was about to rain, and I got home right before the rain happened, and I felt so good, man. I felt clear-headed, and I'm like, this is exactly what I need. And I mean, you've never tried jujitsu,
No.
and you gotta try it out one of these days. It's just.
I mean, I feel like when this stuff comes out, like once we're out of quarantine, I'm like, once you don't realize what you're giving up until it's gone, right? And so like now, once the quarantine lifts, there's some people who are never gonna come out of quarantine, right? And they're already telling you, and they're not joking, right? But there's other people like me. I'm gonna be like, I'm out. Rosil's like, where's the first place you want to go once the quarantine lifts? I'm like, California. I'm like, or Lake Havasu or Lake Tahoe. I want to go to Lake Tahoe. I haven't been there. Like places like, you realize like, oh shit, like if I couldn't go anywhere ever again or couldn't go somewhere far, that'd be like, oh fuck, The world is always there waiting, and then until it's not.
Like being out in nature or just something. Like when I was outside yesterday, it just felt so good, man. It felt so fucking nice to be outside. Because you just literally cooped in all day. And I need that outlet.
How's your dog?
He's chilling. He's a fucking lazy piece of shit.
How big did he get? You have a pug, right?
Yeah. A little black pug. Everybody.
What's his name?
Dobie.
And he looks exactly like Dobie, dude. I mean, did you guys know that you were gonna name him that before?
Oh yeah. Because the little creature from.
Oh, what's a good question to ask you? Like, what? First of all, man, I thought I would stay on this like exercise routine. I know I can't go to the gym. I'm dying to go to the gym, man. And because just you feel so good, right? And I'd only go 2 times a week, but you feel so good when you leave. And but I thought, okay, I'll just do stuff at home. But that's so hard to do, man. It's so hard to do. Have you been doing that?
Oh yeah, no, completely. Today's my off day. So today's Wednesday. So Monday I did. I got some dumbbells at home, and I got a kettlebell at home, and I do Turkish get-ups. Those you gotta try those, man. They're hard at first, and you gotta start off with low weights. But once you get it down, bro, hey man, it's a phenomenal workout. It looks easy. It is easy, but it's not. So I got a couple dumbbells, got a couple kettlebells, and I basically do like a circuit. I do a lot. I've been doing a lot of push-ups, and I just try to hit a lot of different as much as muscle groups as I can. And then yesterday, I did my cardio and I ran 5 miles and I did a bunch of ju-jitsu drills, right? They're specifically for
Like what
mobility
kind of
and
drills?
flexibility. It's mainly for flexibility and mobility, and there's a lot of drills that you do for specific training in jiu-jitsu, right? And then today's my off day, and then tomorrow again I'll do weights, and then Friday I'll do some cardio, and then we'll see what happens on the weekend, see what I feel. But like I have to do something, man. I can't sit at my desk for the time that I have to work, right? And then go sit on the couch or no, that's not me. Like before this shit happened, I never came home during the week and just sat on the couch and just all right, no. I don't turn on the TV at all during the week, Monday to Friday. Oh, Monday to Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, chill, watch a little bit of this and that. But Monday to Thursday, nothing. It's just a complete routine that I like to have. Wake up, do a little bit of yoga, go to work, go do my workout or to go to jiu-jitsu, and just keep that schedule, man. Keep that, maintenance, and it just feels good to have that good routine, man.
That's crazy, dude. Me and Rocio have always been fucking jealous as hell as your routine, man.
It's I think you gotta keep doing. Consistency is one thing that I have to tell you. Consistency, and no matter what the fuck it is, you're going to do something. Like for example, you're consistent in the fact that you're always reading, you're always writing, you're always in this little world, in your little world, in your little mind, right? And guess what? You're very consistent at that. And one of these fucking days, bro, it's going to pay off. I guarantee you.
You know what's
I
funny? Like
guarantee you.
I get in my little world and I stay there for a long ass fucking time that sometimes I realize like I'm like holy shit, like oh, like I have a weird life. Like I have a really weird life. But like you don't really think about it. Like you don't you're doing it for so long and you have your eye on like on what you want to accomplish day in, week in, month in, month out, like just you're taking life in little pieces, and then you're thinking like you just think this certain way, and like that's why that's the reason why I didn't have kids of my own. A big reason, like I had just have what I want to do, and but
Bro, I'm glad I don't have any kids. No, I was just hey, I was just thinking about that right now. I was working by my desk and I had a sliding door and it was open and it was nice. The birds were chirping, the fucking wind was blowing, right? Chilling, relaxing. I'm on my computer working, blah blah. And now all of a sudden I just hear, goddamn! I'm like, hey bitch, shut the fuck up.
no, I mean that's the other thing, right? Like there's two types of there's two types of quarantines right now. There's the quarantine, the parentless millennials, people like us and younger people who are parentless, childless, and then there's the people who have kids, right? Who I'm I guess my brother's the only person that I know of that can see what his life is like under quarantine, and it's all about like maintaining the family, right? Like taking care of the kids day in day out, and it's just like you guys come together. Whereas for me, and I feel lucky in that way. Like I woke up, I fucking went outside, sat on the couch outside, and read Camus and fucking drank coffee for a few hours, and then just did whatever. Like we had lunch, me and Rocio, and we fucking chilled, and then I just read news and getting ready for the interview, took a shower, like, and I realized that like if I had kids, man, like, I can't even imagine how my life would be different. I understand that. Like, I'm not one of these people like, oh, I know what kids are, blah blah blah, and yada yada. Like, I can't imagine what my life would be like with kids, like, but and me and Rosalia say all the time, like, because she says she's selfish, that she doesn't want to have more kids because she wants, she feels selfish that Karina doesn't have a sibling, and but and I feel selfish in the fact that, like, I'm so into what I want to do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, and I like my life, and I don't want to, I'm trying to change it more towards what I want to do, so, like, the fact that I don't have kids, like, those are the two quarantines right now, the quarantines with kids. And then, I don't know if you were talking, they've talked about this on the podcast that I was on Latino Rebels, and then you see all the articles that, like, people who are stuck, and we don't even think about this, people who are stuck with, like, abusive spouses or parents or whatever, or if you were, like, suicidal before this, you were about to fucking jump in front of a train right before this, and you were fighting that fucking urge every day, and now you're stuck inside, and you have no contacts to your support systems, to your fucking family and friends, and then you're like, well, fuck it, the world's coming. You think the world's coming to an end. If you're depressed and suicidal, you think the world's coming to an end, right? Like, that's kind of why. I mean, that's part of depression, right? Everything's coming to an end, right? And so you're like, fuck it. And so now, I mean, imagine, I was reading stuff about in China, like, how the quarantine happened there, and they had people jumping out of, like, buildings, people jumping from their balconies or whatever. Like, I'm sure you're gonna find, once quarantines are lifted in certain places, you're gonna find people who, have hung themselves or have killed themselves in whatever variety of ways, right? Because how would you know? Who would know? Nobody would know.
So you know what's a good idea for these people? Is to take 3 grams of mushrooms.
Bro,
right in their living room.
I was saying,
Bro,
when this quarantine lifts, you have to come straight to fucking Vegas, and we're doing shrooms.
Oh, I was thinking about you guys the other day, and I was gonna let you guys know that during this summer, I'm not, like, you know what, like, you guys don't have Benny anymore, right?
We do, actually.
Oh my God!
I got him back.
Look, hey, hold on. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to go over there and do shrooms, because I'm afraid that nigga gonna bite my face, man.
We're trying to get rid of him, but this
thing is, like,
fucking
I was like, okay.
Rona threw a wrench in the whole thing.
Like, when you guys told me, you guys, like, that the situation that happened, you guys put him on, I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? This day was going to happen, inevitably. And I was like, okay, now I can plan a day that I can come out there and I'll bring y'all shrooms.
Dude, when he was at the pound, after he bit Rocio on the face, and he was at the pound, we were like, we were going through that whole calculation, like, now he can come and we can fucking shroom the fuck out here, have a fucking great time, a jolly old time, sit out back, stare at the fucking stars or wherever the fuck, right? Like, it would, whatever. Or go out into the desert or some shit. But then, we were like, fuck, like, we realized that, he's not a really fucked up dog, like, per se. He's
that nigga fucked up, nigga.
I mean, maybe he is fucked up, but I mean, from what I've seen, he, he could be with somebody completely fine, be in a different environment with a owner or handler who knows how to deal with that, deal with that kind of dog. He's just like a fucking, he's a sporting dog, and he's got, insecurities, like, I mean, the insecurity things, like, I mean, me and Rocio are like, man, he's us, man. He doesn't really like a lot of people, new people, new situations. He's kind of standoffish and shit like that, and sometimes he bites. I'm like, hey, man, that's you. She's like, nigga, that's you. So, like, yeah.
Like, imagine if you say that about a human being, right? oh, he's a nice guy and everything, but once he's got his insecurities. But that nigga bites every once in a while. Hey, put that nigga down too.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I'm not for the death penalty either. Like so, like if
No,
somebody's
just
like,
just put him in the pound. Give him up for adoption. Somebody could adopt him. Somebody with much more time and experience
that's
with
what we're
dogs can
trying to
adopt him.
do. I mean, so we took him to the pound, and they're like after 10 days they're going to euthanize him after 10 days, and so we're like, or yeah, 10 days, and so we're like, and I'm thinking like, well, if we put him down, I'm gonna have to go there, and be there, and because I owe him that, and then I was like, all right, well, but then I was starting to see, like, I think it was the Wednesday after, and then he's gonna get put down on Monday, and it was the Wednesday after, and we I was like, I started looking up stuff and looking up places that I can send him, because we didn't even do that, right? We didn't even see where we can send him, right? And then here we are gonna put him down, and so I was like, I started finding places, and I'm like, oh, we can probably save him. I can work with him, and then we'll place him somewhere, right? And I'm thinking, he's a small dog. Motherfuckers taking pit bulls, right? So like, I'm thinking they'll take him in, right? And so we took him in, and fucking end of February came, still nothing, and then mid March comes, and it's fucking Rona. So that's where we're at.
All right, so when I go there, just put him in somewhere where he's not out, because
well, the good thing is
remember
that
when
we
you
have the good thing is that we have a muzzle for him, and that, I mean, I put the muzzle on him, and then so the muzzle, what it does, it's like it's a basket muzzle, right? It's not one of those things that holds his mouth down. It's just a basket muzzle, and so he can even drink water out of it. He could eat little treats out of it, and so I just throw him into different situations, and that I can bring him around dogs, bring him around people, and be still working on him, but like have no fear that he's gonna like bite. And the fact that he has the basket muzzle on actually like makes him know that he can't bite, and so he starts to like have a different formulation in his head, of like, oh, I can't bite, so either I'm gonna run away or I'll do something. So what he started doing when I started putting the basket muzzle on is that he would hesitate, right? And in that hesitation, the dog would do nothing or smell him. The first time he's ever like let a dog smell him for like an extended period of time was with the basket muzzle on. And like he's been in with a bunch of dogs, and and he's more tolerant because he has to be. And dogs are more less afraid of him because they like, and I read about this, like they know he has a basket muzzle on. They know that he can't bite them, which is like pretty interesting.
Hey, that nigga's bit almost everyone that stepped inside your house.
Everybody
right?
named Mama, man. Everybody named Mama. But there's a lot of dogs like that, I mean, and I don't know, man. It's for me, it's like a question of like, for me, it's a big question, like, right, like. So if I put him down, and it's a light thing, right? But it's almost like I'm crossing a line. And if I put him down, then it changes how I see myself, and I guess the way I make decisions, And maybe that is the right thing to do, is to put him down, right? Maybe even after all of this, he still gets put down, right? Like if I can't find a place for him, soon, I'm still gonna give him up, right? I'm bringing him home and trying to work with him while I find him a place, rather than him be at the pound and try to get adopted out. He's not gonna get adopted out the way he is right now, right? So, and in a way, I mean, the fucking quarantine. He's loving the fucking quarantine, man. He is loving the fucking quarantine. I mean, he gets to spend, he would spend the whole day with me, and then now, he's downstairs with Rocio, just, by her feet, or he has a bed right there, and he just stays by her the whole day, and then we go for a walk, and Karina's home all day, so, like, he's like, I don't know what the fuck is happening with you guys, but I love it, because, if he's home with me, I don't pay him any attention. I don't pay anybody attention, right? Um, but with Rocio, she's always talking to him. I hear her downstairs talking to him, giving him, "You want a treat?" For every little thing he does, a treat. And so he's loving it, dude. He's loving it. He got a little fat, and then even and then, I don't know if it's the fatness or that he's like about to be 4. Um, he's calmed down, man. I mean, we've seen some shit that like is shocking, knowing the kind of the problems that he's going through. It's shocking. But
Yeah, but you guys, I mean, you guys do have an emotional bias towards him. It's like, right?
Oh, yeah.
You guys, and I totally get it. Yeah, you're trying to help the dog, save the dog. But like from an outside perspective, all
Help
I
a dog,
see
save a
is
dog.
him doing this, this, and this and that, and you guys are like, all right, give him another chance, give him another chance, give him another chance. So I totally get it. You guys are in a difficult position to decide what happens, and I agree with that. Like, I wouldn't want to euthanize him either. But at the same time, I think you guys need to move on with your lives because I think it's inhibiting your progress a little bit because that attention there to something that's
point.
probably always going to be the same, biting, biting, biting. Like what next? He literally bit the shit out of her face. How close to an eyeball? How close to something detrimental? Right? A fucking artery in your neck. And what happens? Rocio's dead, and you got Benny.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking wild.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, man. But it's almost like, and then we watched Tiger King, right? And we watched Tiger King, and like, motherfucker, I could relate. Like I could relate why when the fucking tiger bit that guy, and he's like crying, that it's gonna be euthanized, and he's like, give it, it wasn't the tiger's fault, and blah blah blah, or the way, I don't know which one got attacked, Siegfried or Roy, but one of them got attacked, and he's like, oh, it's not the tiger's fault, blah blah blah, like, and some people might think like, oh, well, how does somebody think like that? Like, it's a fucking tiger, you got, blah blah blah, and like, why do you still love it? But like, it's I don't know, like you just I don't know, like you understand what it is, and I mean, maybe I'm making excuses for it. It's hard to know, right? But it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't. You just know, like, okay, we know why we do, and we do not know why Benny turned out the way he did. Like, there's a lot of things, like, he has a kink in his tail, so we've been told that maybe that's a genetic defect, that his mom like rejected him, or that he was the first all white one in his litter, and maybe that was another thing, because I had a cat, same thing happened with that. She had one cat that didn't look like her, and so she would take the cat and carry it all the way to like this closet, and we'd find the little kitten in the closet every fucking morning, meowing, and so she was rejecting it because it didn't look like her. And so maybe that was it, or some things have happened, and or we weren't really good with socializing him because we didn't fucking know anybody. We had just moved, all these fucking things. So the question is, whatever the fucking inputs are, right? The question is, does that all equal to put him down? Well, then it depends on what the inputs are, right? And, did we do everything we can? Did we try to find him a home? Did you try to find him somewhere else to go? No, you didn't do that? Oh, then you're... So are you just putting him down because that's the easiest, most fastest way to get rid of this problem, rather than, doing what you're, holding up your end of the bargain? Because, he's our dog. So, like, the bargain is, you're our dog. We're going to take care of you. We're going to do what we can for you, right? And... if it doesn't work out, then we'll try to find you a home if we think you can be placed in a home, in which we can, which we do. And if it's not like, oh, if something happens, we're going to fucking just put you down. That seems weird to me. It just seems weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what I think about it. I think of different things about it. So right now I'm trying to do the best. I'm trying to ride the middle, right? I'm trying to bring him home, work on him as much as I can, and find him a place so that he's both out of my hair, and I did what I could. My conscience is as clean as I can get it.
So it sounds to me like you have some decisions to make, and you're trying to make the best one. And in my opinion, what I think you should do is do some mushrooms. No, like no, I'll bullshit aside,
No, I
bro.
mean
I'll bullshit aside.
what we'll do is we'll get we'll have the Muslim on him. He's fine with the Muslim.
Nigga, I ain't
And
doing mushrooms with that nigga around. Nuh-uh. Let me tell you something about shrooms, okay? You have to respect the mushrooms. And what I mean by that is the environment and the setting that you're in is going to dictate your experience. Okay? Your environment has to be zenful, peaceful, or whatever kind of experience you kind of want. Like in my place, we put music on, right? And we have a very comfortable setting with people that we know, with people that we trust, right? And it's a beautiful experience. If you want to put a different type of setting, then it's going to affect the way you experience it. Because to me, the way I think of it, mushrooms are alive. They're a live thing, right? And it mixes with you, and it brings you into this world. It sucks you in. Because I'll tell you something. When we were tripping a while back, it was a couple friends of ours, but one friend did not do it. One friend chose to say, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. And we're like, that's fine, that's fine. Bro, tell me why. I felt like the mushrooms knew that somebody was not on it. It sounds crazy, right? But after the trip was done, all the people that did the shrooms, they said they felt the exact same thing. They're like, hey, I felt that, he like the shrooms were aware that Farhan wasn't on the shrooms. Everybody said that, and that's weird, right? That's so it's
have you
one
heard
of the
that theory that like shrooms are like an alien entity that seeded the planet? Because supposedly like there's like 5 times as much fungi on the planet as there is all other biomass, something like that.
hmm
And so they're like basically the planet's almost mostly fungi, and so it's like a fungi planet, and like there's something in the chemicals that interact with your brain that it just connects, and like that fungi can exist throughout the whole soil of a forest, and they're talking to everything, right? They're talking to all the other plants and animals, or not the animals but the plants especially, and the plants are talking to like there an ant in the Amazon where like the plant secretes something that says it's under attack. The plant secretes something that says it's under attack, and the ants come up and defend it from whatever like limpet is attacking it. So that's weird. And or those spores, right, that go inside those ants, and the ant goes around and he knows to climb somewhere high so that the spore can have the highest way to disperse. Like, it's weird, like how things interact like that. So like, it's not crazy to think that mushrooms are talking to you. It's outside of what society says is okay to think. And so that makes it crazy. But what society tells you to think is like this much, right? So anything outside of that is crazy. But how many things were crazy until they weren't, right? How many things, that the sun is this, we revolve around the sun, that we evolved from lower species, that the earth is not 6,000 years old, but, billions of years old. That's not crazy. But, what's not crazy though? A man walked on water, turned water into wine, and came back to life 3 days later.
Right.
That's not crazy.
No.
That's not crazy. But that mushrooms are talking to you, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy, nigga. That's crazy talk.
So how do you think we did on our first Facebook Live?
I think we did all right. Just give everybody some mushrooms. They'll agree. Bro, everyone should take mushrooms. That's my goal for the whole world.
And now that I started doing shrooms, like now I want to really do peyote. I want to do the toad. I want to do DMT.
Wait, nigga, you haven't really done shrooms. I gave you guys a microdose the other day.
Right.
I gave you guys a microdose. So what that experience to the experience?
Do I have to have a bad trip to say that I've done shrooms?
No. That's not no. There's no.
But I didn't really do. It's kind of like my sister, right? We gave her one Molly, and she felt it. You can tell she felt it, but she didn't take 2, and we know what 2 does. 2 will tuck you in. 2 will tuck you in. Remember the first time we did it? We did 3.
Bro,
fucking 6:30 in the morning.
I still have that picture of you.
Yeah, I have the video. Yeah. And we're just going, and you see the sun coming up outside, and we're like, we couldn't stop, man. We couldn't stop. But how great did we feel the next day?
Oh my God, like a brand new person.
And what was the fucking the tradition? We would go to fucking get breakfast. Oof.
Egg Harbor.
No, we'd get breakfast the day before. We'd go to those Spring Awakenings when they were good, when they was at Soldier Field. That was the best one. We'd have a good ass breakfast, go to the fucking festival, roll, and then come back. I fucking drove from fucking Soldier Field, rolling off my ass. I saw people running across the fucking Eisenhower Expressway. I saw like deer and shit running across it.
I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it, bro.
It took immense, because you're rolling, right? So everything fucking distracts you, right? Everything distracts you. And so what it took was that I just had to, like, I'm licking my lips, like, you know? And I think it was raining, too. I think it was raining.
No, bro. Hey, that was just the stars. It looked like Star Wars.
So all I had to do, I'm going down the Eisenhower, the 290, right? All I had to do was stare at the lines, but that took, like, I felt my muscle flexing. Do you know what I mean? You know when you try to physically focus your brain. And that's what I did for fucking 25 minutes. And then we parked, and then we just passed out listening to music, right? In the car. We slept there for like 30 minutes. So we came back down, and then we went upstairs and danced for a few hours.
We saw the sun come up by the balcony. Like, we couldn't stop dancing, putting the music on, and life was just great. You
know what's weird? Okay, you remember how we had those bats at the old apartment? And then here we had a hummingbird. How weird is that, dude? That's weird. I felt it was almost like the same thing, you know, like Nietzsche had this like idea of recurrence, like the same thing happens over and over again in the universe. Like everything that happened will happen again in some new way, right? Like a spiral. And so like, yeah, when I saw the hummingbird in my house, you know,
you never told me about this.
Yeah, there was a hummingbird. I come down. I usually have the back door open, like after 10 in the morning. I just leave the back door open, and I'm up at my desk working. And Benny comes in and out of the back door because he likes to he lounges on the fucking poolside lounge table, and so so I had the door open, and then when I come down to walk him, like at 12:30, I'm gonna go walk him, and we have the high ceilings, right? And so I'm going to get his leash and everything, and then I hear the sound of the hummingbird, right? But I hear it real loud. And I know how it sounds. It sounds like a really loud chirp, actually. It doesn't sound like a little bird's making it. And I hear it, and I'm looking through the windows, and then I hear like right above my head, and I look up, and the hummingbird's just doing circles, and it didn't land, dude, for like 30 minutes. And I'm thinking like it's flapping its wings so hard that it's got to land, right? And it didn't land, and so then I'm stuck there. You know, I open up all the doors, and he's not coming down, right? And then I try to get this fucking stick that extends. That's how we, this really long stick that we use to change the light bulbs on the high fucking lights over there. And I'm using that, trying to fucking swing at it, you know, like, and I don't want to hurt it, but I wanted to bring it down, right? And so that's not working. And then I see that they like red, and that you have to like have something red. And so we have that red door. I open the red door, shine a light on it, put all this red shit there, and then I have my phone, and I play. I YouTubed Vegas hummingbirds, right? Just YouTubed that, and it was a video of them at a feeder, and so I play that right there, and I play it on the speaker pill, and I blast that, and the fucker came out. He came down to the red thing, and he flew out. So it worked, man. That's crazy, dude. That is fucking crazy.
That is weird.
But like 5 or 10 minutes into it, I'm looking at it, right? I'm waiting for it to come down. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, where have I seen this scene before, you know? And I'm like, the fucking bat. That when the bat would do donuts in the apartment. we used to have this apartment in Bensonville, and I think the first time, it was daytime. Priscilla was there, and it was like Sunday morning, and she, I opened the sliding door for the balcony, and she goes, a bird flew in. And I didn't hear anything or see anything. And I'm thinking, being a fucking nature nerd, I'm thinking, a bird flew in? Where? He's like, it flew in there. So I go to, it flew in the little radiator. And apartments have radiators along the floor, on the wall. And I look inside the radiator, and there's a little fucking, he's like fucking, he's getting himself comfortable. And, early in the morning. And no, he's making himself real comfy in there, and I had to get him out of there with the fucking with the tongs. I grabbed him by. You
grabbed the nigga with the tongs?
I grabbed him with tongs.
Ass on a fucking barbecue, bro.
and he was like, he was fucking mad, dude. But then 2 more times a fucking bat was in there, and so when I was looking at the hummingbird, I was like, dude, this is like again, like we moved from Chicago to Vegas. And it's happening again. Like that says something about life, right? That says something about recurrence. Like, I've seen like things happen in my life where it's like, oh, that's almost like the same thing that happened before. You know what I mean? I can't. It's almost like people try to say, oh, I have deja vu a lot, right? And people say, oh, well, tell me the last time you had deja vu, and I'm like, well, I know I can't remember because I have it a lot. Like I have it a lot, like to the point where. When I first met Rocio, I would say like, "Oh, I had deja vu, like that. You said that, you did that, blah blah blah." And now I don't say it anymore because I'm like, I don't, it seems weird, right? It seems weird, and I don't want to seem like I'm pretending to be psychic or anything. I'm not saying I'm a psychic or anything. I think has to be a reasonable explanation for that. I've heard that like it just there's a lapse in time between your eyes taking some image and your brain interpreting it. I've heard that as a reason for deja vu. And that you just think you've dreamt something, because that's how your brain makes sense of it. But I have it a lot. So whatever deja vu is, and however it's caused in your brain, my brain does that a lot. And I don't know if that's good or bad. If there's lapses in the brain, I'm like, well, that don't sound good.
Well, you've been reading. It looks like you're reading too much because your head getting bigger.
No, you know why I'm wearing contacts too? Because like, if I wear my glasses, because they're so fucking thick, that you get the shrunken head right where the glasses are. I don't know if you've seen somebody with really thick glasses, their head shrinks right where their glasses are. So if I had my glasses on, it would be like a fucking bulb, then a little ass thing, and then
Hey, but what about the time previous to Bensonville when you guys were in Elk Grove Village when the bat went inside the laundry room and slapped Rocio in the back of the head? That's the third time.
Yeah, and she comes in from the laundry room.
You guys had 2 encounters with bats.
What can I say, man? I'm fucking Batman.
It slaps her right in the back of the head.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had a lot of weird fucking encounters with animals. It's so weird, dude. Like, I don't know if I ever told you I was with this like Asian girl, and it was the middle of the night, and we were coming, down this lonely ass road, and we come to a stop sign, and it's a T stop intersection, and so we're on this part, right, and the road goes like this, and a car, an SUV. We see a mama deer pass, a mama deer pass the street. And a papa deer. And the little baby deer came. And when the baby deer's coming, crossing the street, this Escalade, I will not forget it, black Escalade comes, smashes the baby deer. And the baby deer goes tumbling, and the fucking SUV swerves and hits the guardrail, dents it in, is there for like a few minutes, then backs a few seconds, backs up, then takes off again, right? And the girl I'm with, she hops out and she runs out into the street, and she's like, oh my God. And she's holding the baby deer, and the baby deer's going, and it's like, it can't get up, and it's back, and everything's fucking, it's all fucked up, right? And I'm just standing over her in the street, making sure no other cars come. and this baby deer's dying, and then within a minute of her getting there, it's gasping, and then it just dies, and she was crying. This girl was crying, dude. She's like, it was like I saw like. For me, like, I had seen animals. I'd never seen a baby deer die, obviously, in my presence, but I've seen animals die, right? Fucking all kinds of animals. Mostly because my fucking brother and me were torturing them. But, I guess she had never, like, it broke her heart, dude. It broke her heart. And, like, she was also like a depressive person, right? She was a depressed person. She was suicidal. Like, she used to carve my name in her arm and shit like that and show me. She showed me once. I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? Why? No, that's not. I don't like that. And I feel bad for her, but like, so when this baby deer died in her arms, I'm thinking, I'm like 17 at the time. I'm thinking like, this is so ironic that she's suicidal, this girl. And she's holding this baby deer, and she hopes that it lives. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you don't even care about your own life. You're a human being. You don't even care about your own life, but you care about this baby deer. That's so weird. But I didn't say that to her, and I'm just, it's midnight. It was like 12:30. It's just middle of nowhere, and yeah, we put the baby deer on the side of the road, and the mom was there waiting. And that girl was heartbroken, man. And I was just consoling her, holding her, I'm like, just, it was, not your fault. And the motherfucker was an asshole, everything you can say, right? But it was crazy.
I mean, that's a life lesson right there, no? Like you said, she was a depressive person, right? Seeing an innocent animal die, like maybe she could have related to that person, like, oh, not to that person, the animal, saying, hey, life is precious,
Yeah.
Don't. So.
And maybe, I don't mean to sound like a fucking hippie or anything, but like, I do feel like the universe talks to you, like, if you say
100%.
Mushrooms talks to you, that's the universe talking to you. When Rocio talks to me, that's the universe talking to me, right? Literally. Everything that's in the universe is the universe. So anything that talks to you in the universe is the universe talking to you, right? We don't tend to think of it like that, but that's just, think about it. That's a rational statement. Everything that's in the universe is part of the universe. So anything that's in the universe talking to you is the universe talking to you. We settled that, right? So, like, maybe that baby, what's to say that baby deer is not, it seems weird to say that, that something would die just so this person would have that message. That's the thing that doesn't allow me to think that fully. But, what's to say that, because then what's life and death? Like, as human beings, because we don't know what death is, we've never been on the other side, we tend to think like, oh, death is like this thing to be avoided, and that it's the worst thing that can happen to you, and to be dead is the worst thing, and to be alive is the best thing. But that's because we're biased, right? We're alive, right? Just like if you're in America, you never left America, you're saying America, and America number one, right? Because you've never been nowhere. So what's to say that the universe didn't send that deer to her, and saying, this is what, the universe wouldn't talk that directly, right? The universe wouldn't talk that directly, though. The universe wouldn't be like that direct, but there's something artistic, I think the universe talks more through artistic means, like showing you, this is death. Here's this, this baby deer wanting to live, right? And it's a baby deer, like I'm saying, it's nothing compared to a human life. Maybe that's wrong, right? In the Buddhist way of thinking, that's wrong. But like, see, that you can't start talking about these things until you without going down a rabbit hole, because it's deep, man. It's like, there's no right or wrong, there's no yes or no, there's no like, I'm asking a question that there's no answer to, right? Which is almost pointless. No, yeah. But like, it's important to ask that question, right? It's important to be thinking that way, to not just be seeing a flat version of things.
No. One thing, one of the deep experiences that I've had when I've taken psilocybin is I realized, well, to me, it made sense to me that there is no death. Like we don't the we don't die. Our physical body, yes, it comes to an end, but who we are, our energy, right? Because the way I think of it, like we're made up of atoms, right? We're made up of elements, and where do all these elements come from? The universe and the galaxy. So all these things are fused together, and that's why we're energy, right? And that's why we get along with certain people because we're on the same wavelength, right? Electrons and protons, all these elements have a certain amount of energy to them. And when you're on the same wavelength with certain people, your frequency matches them. That's why, you get along with certain people, and there's other people where you can't absolutely you don't like, or you don't vibe with them, right? You hear that a lot. Oh, this nigga, I vibe with this nigga, I vibe with this bitch. Like what they're trying to say is that's what the universe is about, right? The energy is attracted to another form of energy. And when it came down to it, my experience, there's a lot, and I can't really I can't put into words this experience. But one of the things that was profound to me is that there is no death. Like people, if you're afraid of death, don't be afraid of death. It's not real. It's just it's like a passage to a different life, if that makes sense.
I mean, I think that's a pretty good and poignant place to stop, man. With all the deaths that are happening right now. I mean, they're expecting a peak in April 15th. They're saying it's going to be it's more than a 9/11 every day. We're expected to lose 2 to 3 times as many people that died in the Vietnam War. It's crazy, man. It's depressing. It's terrible. It's the worst thing is that it could have been avoided. If people had prepared. They're ordering fucking the FEMA. I said the other day it was State Department. It's FEMA that ordered 100,000 body bags. Why didn't the fucking health department or whoever the fuck CDC have enough tests beforehand? When they were saying that we need tests, they were saying it back in 2015.
Bro, my buddy's wife is a doctor in New York, and she's been telling us firsthand her experience and all she's going through. Just the other day, she said for the first time in her life, she felt paralyzed of what she saw. So basically, she saw a semi truck, an 18-wheeler, get loaded up to the brim with dead bodies. And that was I was like, that's grim.
I think it was somewhere in South America. I don't know if it was, somebody will tell me, Bolivia or Peru. I think it was Bolivia or somewhere where they're not even Ecuador. It was Ecuador. The coastal town. It starts with a Q. Sounds like a fucking Jeopardy quiz or something. But
yes, Alex.
they're leaving the dead bodies in the houses, right? Nobody's coming to pick up the dead bodies. There's no people are living with, somebody dies in their house and they live with the body and it starts to smell because it's been there for 3 days. There's dead bodies, or people just take the body. If it gets that long, they put the body out on the street. So the curbs are filled with dead bodies. That's insane, And I don't know if you saw that drone footage of the prisoners at Rikers burying people out in the yard,
Yeah, it's a real tough time right now, man.
So how are you holding up? I mean, it's almost weird. It's stupid to ask that question, right? Because everybody's holding up, everybody's doing what they can, and everybody's at home, or if they can be at home, That's who I really feel bad. Oh, here's a good question. What about what we just decided that it might be better to order in from local restaurants rather than try to stock up on stuff to make for dinner. Because every time there's no telling what they're going to have at the store. We haven't been able to buy pasta or stuff. There's stuff. Karina comes up with crazy, recipes. She threw down on a great steak the other day. Man, one of the best steaks I ever had. It was a shitty steak, like where we got it from. We got it from Albertsons, but the steak she made it medium rare, perfect. But what was I gonna say? Like, you can't have a grocery list because you don't know what's gonna be there. And then two, like, we're also help. There's only 3 of us, so we can afford it. And they leave it at our doorstep. They're open. And we try to support the local restaurants, not chains. Not like fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it seems. I mean, maybe that's our bougie fucking rationalization, but I don't know. What do you think?
I, for one, won't eat out during this time. It's just something that I don't know. Like it's just so easily spread, and for people that are in contact with your food, I don't know. It might sound irrational. I don't know, but the way I think it, if I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna prepare my own food. And I have a bunch of frozen chicken in the. I could eat chicken every fucking day, and I got chicken, tuna, eggs, rice, potatoes, the basics. I don't have anything wild or anything. Just to get me through oatmeal. Plain, boring food, but I have it for a while, so we'll be fine.
Well, no, I mean, I'm the same way, dude. I could eat oatmeal, or I could eat chicken every day, or I can eat like I can eat soup every day. I can eat fucking chili every day. I can eat whatever the fuck every day, right? Like, but Rocio and Karina, they get bored and they and I don't know. This is so weird, like this whole experience, and nobody has experience with it. Like, you can't ask anybody like, what to do, because maybe they have experience in China, right? But we're not China, and so this is a different world. We live in a different society, and so things are you wouldn't do what you would do in China, right? But and the other thing, the bad thing is that they're telling people to stay in because it's peaking right now. But supposedly in Nevada they're gonna peak at the end of May.
Wow.
May. So like, and because I noticed that too. Like I've noticed that like the I've been watching the totals, right? Like it's weird. Like in I've been reading Camus, like the Plague. It's all about the totals, right? The newspaper just the totals. Everybody's talking about the daily totals, and they're watching them go up, go up, go up. And that's what I've been doing in Nevada and in Las Vegas, Clark County. And but I was like, it's not that bad. I mean, there's 100 deaths so far, which is terrible. One death is terrible, right? Like, it's hard to. Do you want me to get more? Does the world want me to get more and more angry the higher the death toll gets? Because one death is terrible. So I'm not gonna keep going up. Like that's not there's no way to that's not a way to be. That's a recipe for disaster. But anyways, like, so I've been saying, like, the death toll is not that high, but then the thought came into my mind, like, oh well, it's gonna peak anyway. It's gonna be bad. It will be bad. That's what they're saying, right? Even if it's not bad where you're at, that doesn't mean it's not gonna get bad. It's gonna go everywhere. They're saying, and not they're saying. I read normal places. I don't go on the dark web or anything like that. So that's what the conservative media is saying, that it's gonna go everywhere, and that and you see that in places where it's been. But like, and if you see how if you see those graphs that they show, like the colors, they show colors of like, yellow is it just got it, and all the way to red to purple, and you see it spreads like a rash, and you see that eventually everything will be purple, right? The way that the colors are spreading. So I'm thinking, okay, if it's still low here and it's not that bad, I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna peak. Instead of going up, how do I do it? Instead of going up like that, it's gonna go like this, but it's gonna go up, and then it's gonna go down, right? The curve is more elongated, but it's still gonna come up, And then then we're saying this is only the first wave, Then we got to go through fall, dude. That's crazy.
No, pues, life's a trip, que no.
Yeah, life's a trip.
Yeah.
All right, man. You were my first video guest. I think it went pretty fucking shaky, but but whatever the fuck, right? I mean, we're on the same boat, man. And really, I wanted to do this Facebook Live. I mean, I should have done the next time. Maybe I'll do the public. Maybe I won't do it live. I know people want to fucking might want to interact and shit, but I don't know. What I liked about my doing the podcast the old way is that we had a fucking private, almost like a private conversation that allowed the guests to be like, you know, whatever. And then, you know, the other thing I don't like about Ecamm, you know, and Julio, maybe let me know if you think the same thing. Like you have to switch, you know, I wish I had a producer, because then you have to switch cameras. You know, I'm doing over here, like, this is split screen and this is you and it's me. And like, I'm over here drinking and smoking and shit. I gotta fucking worry about that. Like, I like just talking and you know, but.
Yeah, and that's it. Just conversation. Like, think about that nigga, the last thing, like, that nigga Joe Rogan,
people are
right?
so visual. That's the only reason I would want to get it, I'm feeling pressured to do video podcasts, because people are visual, right? Like,
oh, of course, yeah. And that's, I was thinking, like, that nigga Joe Rogan, right? His podcast is so fucking popular, right? But that nigga took him 10 years. He started in his basement and all these weird places, setting up conversations with so many different people. There was 5 people in the room, 6, 8, 2. Bro, it just takes some time. It takes some just winging it, doing it. So you're starting off, just keep doing it, bro.
Just gotta keep limping, right? Gotta keep limping until you learn how to run, nigga.
That's it. And then you gonna fly, nigga. Like them bats.
All right, man.
All right, dog.